Hello, I'm John Hartledge. Welcome to my channel. Well, as the saying goes, a river runs through it. We're going to Washington State in the Pacific Northwest, just this side of the Cascade Mountains. Let's chat wine. Columbia Valley AVA, that's American Viticultural Area. Actually, in the Columbia Valley in Washington State, they were granted that AVA status not that long ago. It's 1984. But this area of the United States has become internationally famous. Really, really excellent wines. And partly, again, because of the weather, the climate, the geography, the whole life of the grape affected by this particular environment. And your first thought might be, oh yeah, the Space Needle in Seattle. Doesn't it rain there like every day? Yes, but the interesting thing about those mountains in the Pacific Northwest, they keep the rain on the west. So we're on the United States side of the Cascade Mountains, and what happens to all those really tall mountains? They freeze. There's snow. It has to melt. So there's always a lot of water coming down. It creates the Columbia River, which also creates all these other little rivers that head down towards Oregon. So the Columbia River, or the Columbia Valley AVA, it actually encompasses part of Washington State and even the little northern section of Oregon. But here you have a really long growing season, cool to cold winters, obviously, but this amazingly low humidity. It's very dry, and in some places of Washington State and Columbia Valley, it's as dry or drier than Napa, California. So you have an ideal situation, especially with this higher elevation or this higher latitude. So this latitude, if you went from Seattle, or if you went from the Seattle and then across the mountains into the Columbia and went a little south towards Oregon, and you head over. So Oregon is famous for being in that 45th parallel, the 44th parallel, like Burgundy. But here we go, 45, 46, Burgundy, Bordeaux, right in line with this area. So it's interesting. You don't usually get the Cabernets that are big, like dense and like a big bowl of fruit and pulp. What you get is all that beautiful fruit. You get more of a silky texture and kind of almost a Bordeaux-like balance. So you're getting the fruit that you would get from a nice dry climate like Napa. But then it's a nice fruit intensity, but not bowling you over, and very balanced. And then it allows a little bit of some of those earthy and a terroir, as we've talked about. Terroir being everything, but particularly the soil, the influences of weather. But you get that feel of that area on the finish, almost like you would with a Bordeaux. Now, it's a particle cork. Smells nice. I attained this bottle from a friend of mine. It's a 2015. So at the time of filming, this has probably been in the bottle for 4 years. So we'll see. It may need a little Bernoulli's. I always like the Bernoulli's on my reds, especially Columbia Valley. Running around 13%, so more of a classic alcohol level for Cabernet. I'm serving this at cellar temperature. Well, my clients and my guests ask me, what's the best way to serve for the red? Now, room temperature, that's the standard answer. Well, room temperature now is like 72 degrees. Room temperature classically was 62, 64 degrees. So really nice temperature for a red wine to be served is anywhere from 58 to 62. So that might mean putting just a little chill on the wine, okay? My little wine nook has a kind of a lower temperature in it, so I think we're about 62, maybe 59 degrees here. Oh, that's a nice bit of boysenberry and even a little currant. on the nose on this. I've had a number of reviews that I read, tasters, getting some cherry, getting some chocolate, little vanilla from oak contact. My first gut feeling was, it's going to be tannic, or it's going to be too tart, but there was this really neat, there's silky aftertaste. It's and it's just, like I said, I thought this was going to be tart and harsh, but no, these other little spices came in. So even at 13%, you don't need all the time to have a 14.5%, and we do like this. And there's no doubt that those big wines that just kind of just fill the mouth, and it's almost like crunching, or not crunching, but chomping down on something. We love those, but wow, there's an elegance to this. It's really, and you know what? It tastes like its price point. So we're talking 15, 16, 17, as high as $20, but priced well if you can find this at 15. Current vintage, you'll find more like $18, but wow, it really hits. I'm gonna set this aside a second, and we're gonna do a little Bernoulli's on this. Let's try it now. Here we go, giving it breath. Are you ready? I'm gonna try not to giggle, but I'm already giggling. Here we go. Wait, listen for the gurgle. You hear that? It's that. Just wait. That was a big one. There it is. And that is just air being infused into the wine, oxidizing the wine, aging it a little further. Let's see if that smoothed it up. Notice how when I poured that, I didn't go all the way up. Doesn't matter how big your glass is. Go whatever size your glass. Make sure you're leaving yourself room to swirl, because it gets the aromatics out. The sense of smell is so important in this process of tasting. You got to be able to do it. Now I use a wide-nosed glass, see that? Because I got a long nose that needs to fit in there. That's a schnozzle right there. I like cutting on my nose. It's fun, because I can. Oh yeah, now there's a little tobacco. I am getting another touch of chocolate. These are some of the fruits that develop with a couple of years in the bottle. But Cabernets from Washington State, really, really nice way to go. And this is hitting it right on the money. I'm really excited that there's just this whole level of taste. You're starting with the nose, and it actually doesn't just hit just one thing. It's just a whole development, a whole scan time-wise from this moment. Watch. And I'm still getting stuff. And it didn't dry my mouth out. It has a structuring tannin that's soft now. Really beautiful, tasting elegant. I have to say, I'm liking it, and we did good. Cricklewood, really, really nice Columbia Valley Cabernet producer. They actually do some other grapes, but this Cabernet hits it, and I think this is the strength, and it's showing Columbia Valley like it should show it. Come back again. Let's have some more fun. Let's chat wine.